So this is my newest firearm purchase. It's a Glock 20 Generation 4 in 10mm. So this is the case that it comes in like all other Glocks. Inside you have 3 magazines. There's one of the gun. Set of back straps to accommodate different size hands. A cheesy speed loader. Lock, cleaning brush, and then a cleaning rod, which I don't use. I have my own cleaning stuff. And then underneath there's an instruction manual and some other paperwork, some registration forms and stuff like that. So here's the gun. It is unloaded, by the way. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. So I was looking for a gun to take hiking and backpacking, because I do that quite frequently in the Appalachian Mountains. I'm in rural parts of West Virginia and Virginia and in national forests, and there's quite a bit of black bear out there. So I want to defend against them or other predators in case of an emergency. So I was doing research on different calibers and came across the 10mm. For those of you that don't know, the 10mm was developed by Jeff Cooper for the FBI, but in some testing they realized it was a little too powerful for their agents to handle. So they shortened the round and lightened the load and came up with the 40 Smith & Wesson. The 10mm is essentially a more potent 40 Smith & Wesson. It produces energy that falls in between 357 Magnum and 41 Magnum. It's on the higher end of 357 and the lower end of 41 Magnum. So I was pretty impressed with the round. I heard good reports from people who've actually used it to defend against wildlife. So yeah, it fit the bill on what I was looking for. And I was originally looking at different revolvers, but honestly I'm more comfortable with semi-automatic pistols. That's what I've been shooting pretty much since I started shooting. My first handgun was a Glock 23, so I was pretty happy when I saw Glock offered a 10mm pistol. So I purchased it and I'm really happy with it so far. The gun is pretty thick, as you can see. Just for comparison, here's my Glock 23, which is also unloaded. This is Generation 4, and try to get that in there. As you can see, side by side, the slide on the 10mm is much thicker and it's heavier, as well as the frame. It's much wider, the grip is, but it doesn't bother me. I have medium to large hands and it fits my hands really well, because on my Glock 23 I actually put a Hogue grip sleeve because it just fills my hand better. So I've had this for probably about a month or so. I shot it quite a bit, took it hiking on a couple of trips, and I don't have any complaints about it. A lot of people say it's got heavy recoil and that it's unpleasant to shoot. I will disagree with that. I have shot probably about 200 rounds through this using different ammunition, even some buffalo bore, some really hot stuff, and to be perfectly honest, I think my Glock 23 is snappier and more unpleasant to shoot than the 10mm is. This is a lighter gun, significantly lighter, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. But the heftiness of this really helps to tame the recoil. I'm sure if they had a gun this light and of this size and the 10mm, that'd be probably unpleasant to shoot as well. But it's not bad at all. What I carry in it is buffalo bore. This is 220 grain hard cast, and it comes out at 1200 feet per second. I'll just show you what it looks like. So that's it. It's a hard cast bullet. It shoots pretty well in my Glock. I've never had a single issue or jam with it, so I'm going to continue to use that when I carry this gun out in the woods. So, as you can probably see, I changed out the sights. I put in some Trijicon night sights on it, but this is the first time I installed Glock sights on my gun. Before aftermarket sights on my Glock, and I used the hammer and punch method and marred up the sight just a little bit. After that, I bought a Maryland Gunworks Glock sight adjustment and removal tool, and I'm really glad I did that. So just an FYI, if you want to change out your Glock sights, take a look at that tool. It's really handy. So one other thing I wanted to mention too is with these magazines, they offer, I think it's Armorendo, something like that. They make a +5 magazine extension, and I bought mine from Brownells, but it didn't work at all. It was horrible. When I loaded it up, the follower completely tilted and was upside down inside the magazine, and I tried it on different magazines. I tried different followers. I made sure everything was seated correctly, the spring and the follower, but it still didn't work. So if you come across that, I would probably stay away from it, especially if you're using this to defend your life with, potentially, like I am. So I'd recommend just staying with the 15 round magazine. So yeah, that's the Glock 20. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave below. Thanks.